What's up, guys? Go back to our video. And last night we got the Hawkeye finale, episode 6, and it was amazing. We got a full presence of Kingpin in this episode, and for Eleanor and what she's been up to all this time, and we might have to figure out who the villain was in the show and who was behind and everything. And we also saw Yelena in this episode as well, and what she wanted with Clint, as well, and an explanation to why she is there, especially for Kate and Clint who are fighting the Tracksuit Mafia in the Rockefeller Center. And within this episode, it kind of felt like more of like a Die Hard episode based on the Die Hard movie. And with this finale, not everyone liked, and especially with that post credit scene that was really nice, and that ending that set up a twist for us to come for the future of the MCU. So in this video, this will be my breakdown for the Hawkeye finale, episode 6. But if you have not seen the episode, there are going to be major spoilers. If you're trying to avoid them, also we point out Easter eggs and stuff that you may have missed. So let's get into it. So this episode starts with the full presence of Kingpin, and then we see Kingpin and Eleanor having a conversation, and then with Kingpin saying to Eleanor, you have 1 minute to think about what you're starting right now, and with Kingpin saying all this to Eleanor, you can assume that like Eleanor could be up to something no good, or if Eleanor is behind all this, and then like Kingpin mentions about like Jack and his like expenses. With all this, and we assume that like Eleanor is the one who's up to no good, or that she's behind all this, or if she's like the main villain. And then Eleanor also says like should she handle Armand like Kingpin asked. So maybe Kingpin wanted Eleanor to kill Armand, which is revealed later in this episode that like she was the one behind all this, killing Armand, which is the whole murder mystery behind all this episode with the King Clint and the solve, and hacking into the Bishop's security with the Salon Limited. Next, we see Kingpin and Cassie having a conversation, and with Kingpin discussing how he's gonna destroy King Clint, how he's gonna kill them and take over the entire city, and probably crash, the party, and then like we have like a thing where Kingpin is gonna go after Kate and Clint, and probably going Yelena as well, but because he wants Clint dead. Then we see Kate and Clint preparing for battle, as like Clint is preparing all of his gear for his bow and arrows as well, and plus he's using Star Trek as well as part of his gear, which we'll all see in the MCU. But by now, especially with the villains in Spider-Man and No Way Home upgrading their suits with the Star Trek, especially with the nanotechnology as well, because of the impact towards our weight on the world, it would leave a Star Trek behind, especially for Clint as well. So I'm glad that like Clint is using Star Trek, especially for his gear as well, as Clint and Kate are preparing for battle between Kingpin and his men. Then we see Jack, who was at jail, who's now carrying the Ronin sword. He stole at the auction because he's now a swordsman, and swordsman, and plus with him at jail, but because Eleanor framed him. And then we see him talking to a kid who's saying that his father bailed him out, and now with his father, he could be directly kind of like Kingpin or his men or somebody else. Then that let like Jack at jail, and probably wants to do something even worse, especially with the Ronin swords, since he's now a swordsman. Then we see Eleanor going into the party, and notice that how we see the Rockefeller Center with the Rockefeller tree. This is also similar to some trailer footage as well, and this is also similar to the spoilers if you haven't seen Spider-Man No Way Home. This is also similar to the Spider-Man No Way Home ending as well. We saw Spider-Man to take his field as swings around New York City in his comic accurate suit. We thought he was going to be in it, but didn't. And then we are Eleanor revealing that like Kingpin wants Eleanor dead, and now like Jack like owed like Kingpin money, so that's how like someone can credit to the Kingpin might bail Jack out. So now like Eleanor and Kingpin don't want anything to do with Jack, but because like Kingpin wants Eleanor dead. Next, we see Yelena and Kate in an elevator, but because with Yelena, she wants Clint dead, and now with them in an elevator together, like she wants to push the button, and but then like Yelena is preventing her to, and then they fight, and then she like slaps her, and then she reveals her full suit, which is probably from the comics as well. It's her comic accurate suit, and then Yelena also reveals her suit as well. And now that she's after Clint, and now Kate is going after leading in this big huge fight between Yelena and Clint a little later. And then I just see Yelena and Kate fighting. We hear someone on the radio saying, "We wish you a Merry Christmas Eve," and which this like fight in the finale is to take place on Christmas Eve, the day before Christmas, which Clint, if he survives or makes home to his family, which this fight is to take place on Christmas Eve. And now, with the final fight to take place at Rockefeller Center, we see Kate taking on the Tracksuit Mafia, and with the Clint now in the Rockefeller tree, and now we're seeing that they're gonna need some backup. And then we see the LARPers show up from episode 2, also throughout the series as well, including Grills as well, with Kate and Clint also fighting the Tracksuit Mafia in a Rockefeller Center. Then we see on the building which says Comcast building, which this place is the Comcast building, which is the second largest internet and cable company in the world, which handles so many network channels as well. So that was like a pretty nice hidden little Easter egg. Then, as we see Kate and Clint fighting in the final battle, we see Clint firing an arrow at the Tracksuit Mafia's guns, creating this blue electric line static across the whole Rockefeller Center and these poles, and like setting the guns to those. And with like Clint now using Star Trek and his arrows to prevent the Tracksuit Mafia from killing them, and creating this blue static electric line. Then, as you see Kate and Clint fighting the rest of the Tracksuit Mafia, we see Yelena confronting Clint on why she is there to kill Hawkeye, as in Clint killed her sister, but then Clint tries to tell her that Natasha sacrificed herself for the Soul Stone, and that she sacrificed herself. But with Yelena, she doesn't believe Clint, and that leads to Clint to convincing her like even more on why like Yelena is there to kill Clint, because like Yelena wants Clint dead. Then we see Kate fighting Kingpin as she is firing for an arrow at Kingpin, and then with like Kingpin, he was killed off way too easily as he was driven by like the store by Eleanor Bishop, in which like he was like killed off way too easily. And then, as the fight between Kate and Kingpin continues, we see Kate using one of the pimps arrows, arrows to activate them. Like she throws a small table at them, activating the arrows, and then it blows up, killing Kingpin. But we never see him actually dead or see a bullet through Kingpin, because in the Marvel comics, Kingpin is not actually dead. The way that Echo killed him in the Marvel comics, and now like he has a band-aid on his eyes, and with this like Kingpin is not actually dead. And then we find Kate, we find Eleanor, and she's revealed to be the villain, the one behind all this, and with everything that she's done from framing Jack and sending him to the jail, and plus like she was the one who killed Armand. She was like the one behind all of it, and then she gets arrested. Then we see more of Yelena confronting Clint, and at which Yelena hears Clint made the single whistle, at which Natasha and Yelena made from the child using the single whistle, and then with Clint telling Yelena that like she made the ultimate sacrifice, and then with Yelena saying that she loved her like so much, and now like Clint spends so much time with her, and with Clint saying like she made her choice, and then with we see Yelena crying and all. And a emotional, and plus it is now settled, which Clint survives after all. But which like Yelena is still upset, because like Natasha was his sister, and they've been through a lot together. And then we find Kingpin not actually dead, he's alive. And then we find Echo and Kingpin with Echo pointing a gun at Kingpin's head, actually killing him. But I don't think he's actually dead, but he's dead now. But in the comics, Kingpin is actually dead, as Echo like shoots like Kingpin, killing him. He's not actually dead, and now pointing bandages over his eyes and thinking like he's not actually dead. But in the show, like Kingpin's dead. And then this episode ends with like a very happy ending, with like Clint making it home to his family on Christmas Day, and also bringing Kate with him as well. And now like Clint he bought gifts for his kids, and then we see his kids opening the gifts, and then we see Clint and Laura at the kitchen table, and then Clint gives Laura the retrieved Rolex, and that was in Echo's apartment. And then on the back of the watch it says that 19, which is also referred to Agent in that 19, referred to in the Marvel comics. This is a reference to Mockingbird, which we could see Laura be a Mockingbird sometime in the future of the MCU, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But that was a pretty nice Easter egg with that Rolex having like the 19, which is referred to Agent in 19. And or if Laura Barton is a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. as Mockingbird Agent 19. And then Kate and Clint burn the Rowan suit to make sure like Clint never wears the thing again, to make sure that if we forget about all of the things that Clint went through, and finally burning the Rowan suit. And then the episode ends from there. And we know that Kate has a bright future ahead of her, since she is going to be passed on the mantle of Hawkeye, and she's going to be joining the Young Avengers as well as a female Hawkeye. And the episode ends from there. And then we got like the worst post-credit scene ever, it was like a 5 minutes his sequence of Rogers the musical, like which we saw back in the entire series, which like Rogers the musical was like the whole series as well, and especially with this 5 minutes his sequence of Rogers the musical. We thought we expected something big in the post-credit scene, but didn't. And yeah, with this finale, I thought it was alright, especially with like Kingpin like being killed by Echo, but we all know he's not actually dead as he is in the comics. And with the Echo, she also getting her own show, which is a continuation of her story, since she is introduced now into the MCU. And with the Clint finally survived and made it home to his family at Christmas, and with like Kate like brought along with them. And Laura Barton actually being revealed as Agent 19, which in the comics is Mockingbird, which Laura Barton, we could see her as Mockingbird in the near future in the MCU if she's a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. And now with the Key, like, and now moving on to be the Young Avengers as female Hawkeye with Clint and now and so yeah, there's a lot more I could be continue. Maybe we'll get a season 2 of Hawkeye in the near future as well. So yeah, a lot went down in this episode, but like I really enjoy it for what it is. So that's gonna be it for this video. Let me know in the comments down below and what you thought of the Hawkeye finale. And also we started the year off with WandaVision, and now we ended the year off with Hawkeye. So yeah, great way to end 2021. Let me know in the comments down below and give me a rating between 1 and 10 on what you thought of the Hawkeye finale. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe and turn on notification bell for future videos. And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter for live updates. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.